Welcome to the Wiss Mama Bear Podcast, episode 50. I'm your host, Sarah Yacoub. Today's topic, the activated Patriots. Good morning. I hope this finds everyone well. Happy Friday. It's hard to imagine that we are rounding out the 10th week of this podcast with episode 50. Thank you to everyone who has been joining us. Please feel free to reach out by email to sarahyacoub@wissmamabear.com with any feedback. Connecting to listeners is one of the best parts of this work. You can also follow me on Twitter at @wissmamabear. So let's dive in. It feels like the sun is shining just a little bit brighter after Wednesday's inauguration, doesn't it? I don't know about you, but for me, the saying, if you're going through hell, just keep on going, is so true. I pull up my bootstraps and focus on not much more than making sure one step keeps moving in front of the other. I'm not thinking about when it will be over, instead reserving all of my energy for just getting through it. For me, the end of the nightmare that was the Trump administration was a long, dark tunnel. Every day felt like something new, some new way in which more people, animals, and/or our environment shouldered the harm of an empowered narcissist. After Wednesday's inauguration, it finally feels like we're out of that tunnel. Instead of having to hunch over as we trudge our way out one step at a time, we can finally stand tall, take a breath, and soak up some sunlight. Oh, does it feel good. I go back and forth on whether to call out our local extremist group by name. On the one hand, I do not want to amplify their corrosive existence. On the other, say nothing, and I enable their extremism to fester and grow. It also gives the, quote, polite Republicans among us cover in their support of a group followed by claims of having no idea what they're about when presented facts about who they are and what they do. After weeks, if not months, of loosely veiled threats against our country and democracy out in the open on their posts and comments section, the activated Patriots took a seat. They announced no organized activities for or before inauguration and changed their profile picture to something more innocuous. It had been the Punisher skull, which as of late has become a symbol utilized or rather hijacked by white supremacists. I had high hopes that they would simmer down once their conspiracy theories about the election fell flat with President Biden's inauguration on Wednesday, but sadly no. However, it does seem that they are switching gears. Since President Biden's inauguration, they have been amping up their corrosive hate and mean girl-like bullying. To be clear, we're not talking policy debates or suggestions of how to solve problems differently. We're talking about petty, mean graphics and personal insults. After 4 years of a president who sat on his rear end watching Fox News all day, and that's when he wasn't out golfing, these bitter bullies are taking cheap shots at President Biden. While they took no issue with Trump, his age, now suddenly they're making fun of President Biden for his age. The reason I mention this is because the hypocrisy is telling. It communicates a lack of sincere good faith concern in that which they articulate, in this case, the age of our president. And it is clear that they just need, or rather want their followers to hate who they hate. Side note, the irony of Mayor O'Connor's silence is rich. Pun intended. Here we have a group clearly disregarding his Golden Rule initiative, and he's looking the other way, quietly enabling the hate of extremists in our community, which is to be expected, and among the reasons his Martin Luther King evening address to the community was so naive and/or offensive. In addition to sowing divide and encouraging others to be cruel, the activated Patriots are still serving as a local propaganda source for misinformation. On Wednesday, January 20th, they posted a picture of some of the security measures taken at the Capitol, namely a picture of a fence with barbed wire. Within the comments, they blatantly and shamelessly mislead their audience by saying, quote, "We peacefully protest. They respond with the military, loaded weapons, and razor wire fences," close quote. They then go on to distance themselves from the Trump supporters who got caught attacking our nation's capital, calling them not patriots. They go so far as to call those who attacked the Capitol, quote, ill-intentioned infiltrators dedicated to disenfranchising we the people when we're trying to be heard, close quote. To be clear, no one infiltrated the Trump supporters who attacked the Capitol. Those who violated our most sacred, symbolic location of our democracy, constitution, and our government called themselves, quote, we the people. They were there claiming that they wanted to be heard as they looted the place. One of two things is happening here. Either the activated patriots are ignorant as to who attacked the Capitol, or they are purposefully misleading anyone gullible enough to buy what they're selling. Either way, the public is fed the reckless lie that it was anyone but Trump supporter extremists who attacked our nation on January 6, 2021. Why does it matter? Well, for one, truth matters. Truth always matters. More specifically, though, if we delude ourselves into believing the lies, that paves the way for enabling extremism at the local level, as they get away with having us believe that they are somehow different than those who attacked our nation's capital. To be clear, they are not. The activated patriots are friends of white supremacy. They are friends of extremist groups like the Proud Boys, the Oath Keepers, and the Boogaloo Boys, which are corrosively toxic groups that grew in momentum and power under the enabling and support of Donald Trump. Getting back to the tone and tenor of the social media posts of the activated patriots in general, it is very clear that they do not want President Biden to succeed. It is very clear that they want their 2,500 or so followers to hate who they hate. Why? Because it empowers them. To be clear, they are willing to undermine our strength as a nation, divide our community, and generally erode any civility and discourse surrounding our differences, all because it empowers them. I don't know about you, but that to me sounds like the opposite of patriotism. You see, in all of their toxicity, they are leading people in our community down an ugly path. It's not like they are saying that they are rooting for President Biden but are going to be there to hold him accountable. That which would absolutely be fair game and even patriotic. Instead, on day one of his presidency, they are dehumanizing, belittling, and undermining him right out of the gate. Local extremists are not even approaching the table in good faith, with even thinly veiled desires to see this president and/or his administration succeed. They are bitter, miserable haters who just want our community to join them in their corrosive ugliness. Is that really what we want for our community? Is that really reflective of the lessons we want to teach our children? Does any of this reflect your values? Because it certainly does not reflect mine. So what can we do? Write letters to the editor that raise awareness about local extremists in the community and the harm that they cause. Call on our representatives, those whom we as taxpayers pay to represent us in public office, to publicly denounce local extremism. We can stop voting for politicians who use local extremists to get elected, fail to publicly denounce them, and quietly enable and/or empower them in the harm they bring to our community. Someone recently commented in a local community group on Facebook that standing up to local extremists is divisive. To which I thought and responded, well, only if you yourself are an extremist. Standing up against extremism for the rest of us, conservative and liberal alike, is a no-brainer. Episode 51 Monday. See you there.